Hi, and welcome back to Make It Happen Today. So, I've been gone for a couple of weeks, and for those of you that watch and listen quite regularly, I apologize. I felt like December I had a bit of a rough time. I didn't quite feel like myself. I felt a little bit overwhelmed with life and Christmas and everything that's grown-ups have to do and mums have to do. There's just a million things in preparation for Christmas. And for those of you with kids, it's all the stuff surrounding their schooling as well. You know, Christmas jumper days and hampers and gifts and Christmas service at the church. There's just so much. And add to that the normal day-to-day running a house, making everything special for Christmas, all the food. It just became a lot for me. And I had to have a few weeks off the podcast because, quite frankly, I just couldn't take much more on my schedule during December. But I'm back now. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling good. I'm so excited for what I can bring this year. I've got some great ideas. I've got some guest speakers coming. I promised one in December, and unfortunately that got postponed. So that will be out by the end of the month. And I'm hoping to have a guest speaker every month. So if you are listening and think that you have something to offer, then get in touch with me. I am totally open, and nothing would please me more than having a guest who is also one of my avid listeners. So definitely let me know if that is you. So today I just thought I would touch base about something that has personally been on my mind. So I took all the Christmas decorations down. I think it was the second. Couldn't bring myself to do it on the first. I wanted to put my feet up and take it easy. So I took it all down on the second. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this. The house then looked empty. I kind of looked around and I said to myself and said to my boyfriend, we need to decorate, we need to look at things. And I really just felt like the house needs a little bit of zhuzhing up, as I like to call it. I also use that if you're watching on YouTube. I call zhuzhing is my hair as well. You zhuzh it up, you give it a bit of volume, you make it look a little bit nicer. I feel like this year I want to just decorate a few key areas of the house and just give it a little bit of a facelift. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, for me to get to that point, is just doing a little bit of decluttering. And I think that it's so apt this time of year as well. You know, the house is filled with presents. It's filled with leftover Christmas food. The cupboards are full of stuff. You know, we're trying to find homes for all the new things that we have. We're trying to put away all the Christmas decorations and make sure that there's a home for them. And I think it's really important to start thinking about decluttering and trying to get rid of some stuff and streamline this part of our lives, this physical part of our lives. So there's a few benefits to decluttering. Obviously, there's less to clean. There's less to organize. If you have less stuff, you need to clean less stuff. You need to put less stuff away. So that's a given. For me, having everything decluttered is it's so much less stress on my mind, because when I look around or I open up a drawer, it just fills me with dread. You know, you open it and you think, oh God, this is such a mess. And it just fills you with stress every time you want to open a specific cupboard, and you just think, oh God, I've got to root around in this cupboard to find a tin of beans that are hidden at the back of the cupboard because there's various things at the front that you're not eating, or you just shove in and you forget what's at the back of the cupboard. Think about there being less debt. So this is twofold. So one of the benefits of decluttering is, with a cleaner and more organized home, you're less likely to fill it with stuff. So when you have your kitchen and your wardrobe and your bathroom cupboards all nice and organized, streamlined, you know where everything is, you're less likely to want to go out and just buy stuff to fill gaps, you know? And so that's the first element of financial gain. And secondly, when you're decluttering, you might be able to start selling some of the items that are unused. So that could be toys, could be clothes, could be kitchen items, you know, that blender that we all have had over the years that no one ever uses. You use it once every 3 years and think, I'll keep that because I might need that one day. If you haven't used it in 3 years, you're pretty sure you're not going to use it. Let's get rid, make some money, even if it's pounds here or there. All the pounds add up and can go towards something that's beneficial. And lastly, the last benefit to decluttering is that feeling of freedom, the feeling of reinvigoration, the feeling of energy. You know, you feel good about the place that you live. You feel good about the area around you. And you no longer get bogged down by, oh God, I can't find those shoes underneath the pile of 15 shoes in that box. You no longer have that feeling anymore because you've organized everything. Everything has a home. You know exactly where to find stuff. And it's so freeing once you get a handle on the clutter. So I'm sure many of you are thinking, well, yeah, that all sounds great. That's exactly what I need. I need to clean less, I need to organize less, and I need less stress. And if I can get financial gain, all the better. So how do I get about that? So I have a few tips for you that I have tried and tested myself. And there was one tip at the end that actually was really interesting for me and was something that I thought about a while ago, and I will share with you right at the end. So start small. The best way to get started is either pick a room. Don't think about the whole house. Think about the room that's going to add the most value to your life. Is it your bedroom, where your bedroom should be a sanctuary? It should be a place where you go and you feel relaxed and you feel happy and you feel calm. If your bedroom is full of crap, and you've just everywhere you look, there's stuff. Your bedside table, there's stuff. The dressing table, there's stuff. The floor is full. You have hangers everywhere. Start there. If you go in the kitchen and you like to cook, or actually you don't like to cook, but you know that you need to prepare 3 meals a day for your family, but every time you open a cupboard or a drawer, it fills you with dread, or you can't find the right stuff. Or what about those drawers that you open that you shove all the utensils in and you can't get the drawer open? So maybe that's the place to start. If tackling a whole room is too much, then start with a cupboard. So set yourself a goal of starting with something small. So maybe it is the kitchen drawers. Maybe it's the fridge. You know, we've all got a disgusting shelf in the fridge where something exploded or the tomato ketchup leaked. Anything that you think that you can start with, just pick one small item, one small place, and start there. If you have a whole day or a whole weekend, or you're feeling like you're ready to smash it, pick a room and start with a room. My next tip is to take before and after photos, which I know sounds a bit crazy, even if you're just tidying a drawer or tidying a cupboard, but we spend so much time organizing and cleaning, and you might sit down afterwards and be knackered and think, oh, I don't feel like I've achieved anything. If you can then refer back to that photo and see the difference that you have, it's going to make you feel so much better. You're going to have a sense of achievement, and it's going to keep you going to the next cupboard, to the next shelf, to the next drawer. So make sure you take photos before and after you finish, and you'll get that sense of achievement and drive to keep going. So when you've decided what you're tackling, where you're tackling, grab some rubbish bags, or a couple of rubbish bags and a couple of boxes, whatever you have handy. Now, I would suggest that you start with the rubbish. So this could be all of the bins, you know, your bathroom bin, your bedroom bin, your dressing table bin, could be all the bins in the kitchen. Just get rid of all of that rubbish. Then look at where you are. So go through, if you're in the kitchen, go through all of the food. Throw out all of the out-of-date food, all of those sachets, all of the chutney that we had from last Christmas, the soup that we had last winter that's no longer in date. Go through everything and just be ruthless. Look at all of those, you like to bake with the kids and you've got the food colouring. Those, quite often I've gone to the food cupboard and thought, we've got loads of that. It's gone off a year ago. Just get rid of it. Get rid of all of your old crusty makeup, all your little half moisturizers that you don't use anymore. Just get rid of them. Be ruthless. If you haven't used it in 3 or 6 months, you're never going to use it. Get rid of it. And what about all those clothes with the holes in them? We all think, we're going to just fix that little seam on the knickers. It's never going to happen. The bra that's got a wire hanging out, you're never going to fix it. We are way too busy as women to be fixing stuff like that we can get in Primark for a couple of pounds. So get rid of all the clothes that you're never going to fix. You leave in the drawer as emergencies, and actually even in an emergency, you probably won't wear it anyway. Throw it out if it's ruined. If it's got stains on it, you can't get it out. Don't think for a miracle is going to happen. Just throw it out. Get rid of it. You don't need it anymore. So then think about the stuff that you can donate. So if you are in your bedroom and you're going through your wardrobe, what clothes can you sell? And shoes, clothes and shoes perhaps. What clothes and shoes can you sell? And what clothes and shoes can you just donate? Because there is a bit of a difference, right? There's some bobbly stuff that no one's going to want, but there's some dresses with tags on that you thought you might like, you thought you might wear, and you never did. So separate those out. So you've got rid of all of the rubbish clothes, all the stuff with holes, all the stuff with stains. Now let's look at all the things that you're just never going to wear again. Doesn't fit you, doesn't suit your style, just makes you feel awful when you put it on. It makes you feel awful about yourself. So separate them into either 2 bags or 2 boxes, whatever you have to hand. If you just keep pulling stuff out and just dumping it on the bed or dumping it on the floor, you're going to just feel even worse, because then you've got another pile of stuff to deal with. So as you're pulling things out, put it in the relevant bags or boxes that you have. And again, it could be a kitchen that you're going through. So if you're going through kitchen cupboards, the one with all the Tupperware and all of that stuff, all of the electrical items that you keep, maybe it's time to be ruthless. And again, throw out anything, or any rubbish. We already established that. And then look at what is good enough to sell and put that in one area, and what is good enough for charity. Where can you give to charity or donate or free cycle? There's lots of places you can send free stuff. So do the same. It doesn't matter where you're organising, you have those sections going, and make sure you just put them in the bags or put them in the boxes. It will honestly save you time and make you feel better not to turn around after you've emptied your wardrobe to see a massive pile that you then have to go through again. So once you've cleared that, you've cleared your rubbish, you've cleared the stuff to get rid of, either through a donation or sale, then look at everything that you have left. So the stuff that you should have left in your bedroom will be the things that you love, the things that bring you joy, the things that make you happy, the things that you value in your life. Right? So they're the things that you need every day. They're the things you want every day, all those photos and pictures and things like that. So make sure that everything has a home, which I know sounds simple, but not everything always has a home. And that's when things become cluttered. That's when things become messy. That's when things become unorganized. So, for example, on my dressing table on the top, I have the stuff that I use on a daily basis, or at least a weekly basis. I have a couple of spare moisturizers, very small little tasters that fit in the unit that I have. So I keep all of that on the top. I have a smaller mirror. I have a pot for my brushes. I actually have 2 pots, which maybe I could organize. So I have 1 pot with my daily brushes, and then I have a pot of spare ones in case I've used a black eyeshadow and then need to put a clear eyeshadow on, like a neutral. So I have a pot of spare brushes as well. And then underneath my dressing table, I have a small unit, and that contains all the extra items. So anything that's going to be used perhaps at the weekend. So I've got some eyeshadow palettes that I like if I'm going out, additional hair products. So when I wash my hair, if any of you have seen my videos, I have quite bleached hair, and so I need a lot of products. And I think it's 4 drawers, maybe 5. And I organize them with the stuff that I will need kind of at any moment's notice. So I have one for my makeup, I have one for my skincare, I have one for my hair, and I have one for kind of my body products. So additional body moisturizers, a little bit of fake tan. So anything that I use regularly goes in those, and they're organized. So I know exactly which drawer my eyeshadow palettes are in. If I'm drying my hair, I know where my serums are. And it's really small, neat, and organized. And honestly, it works perfect. I think it was like £20 or £25 out of Argos. It's amazing. I love it. And then for me, I have another unit with my beauty products. And again, it's just extras. So a spare hair products, things that don't fit in that little unit, things I don't use all the time, but they're kind of extras that I might need. So salt spray, for example, or sea salt spray. So if I want my hair curly, I don't often put sea salt spray in, but I have it in the second unit if I need it. Additional hair curlers. So an old backup hair curler that I have just in case I want different curls and a different look. Extra moisturizers, extra just mascaras. Anything I need is fully organized in that unit. And again, I know exactly where to go at any single time. Now, I have some beauty boxes that I have had over the years. So the subscriptions that some of you might get, I use those all over the place. So I have them with little labels on, and I literally keep them in the bathroom. So I have one for fake tan. I have one for face masks. I have one for kids' medicine, for example. So the Calpols and the Bonjela and all of that stuff. And I just keep them labeled. So I know where everything is. Everything has a home. And so when I buy something new, I know exactly where to put it. If it doesn't fit, that means I either bought too much or something needs to go in the bin. So I just replace it. It was just a little quick tip of something that works very well for me. Now, also think about the use of space. So I know I've talked about kind of the beauty products just because it's easy. I have a lot of them. I'm very girly. But think about this. So if you do your makeup in the bedroom on your dressing table, but yet you have half of your makeup in the bathroom, it's so stressful when you come to do your makeup because you're up and down, up and down. Your stuff is split into 2 locations. So try and bring it all into one place. Try and organize it into a methodical space that's easy to use, and everything has a home. And if you have products in there that you haven't used in years and you're more likely not to use them, just get rid of it. Or donate it to one of your daughters, or ask a friend, hey, do you want this? I don't use it anymore. Just get rid of it. You don't need it anymore. And the same with the rest of the house. So if in your kitchen you have a utility room, for example, and you're always going to your utility room for something, maybe your washing machine is integrated in your kitchen and your utility room is just storage and laundry and coats and shoes, but you have all your laundry products there. So your washing powder and everything, that needs to come back to the kitchen. There's no point. You're adding stress to your life by having stuff unorganized. Get it organized in the place it's supposed to be. So the kitchen is one of those places that always has clutter. At the minute, I feel like mine isn't so bad, but in the past it has been. It's been terrible. I open cupboards and just fills me with dreads. So again, go in there with those bags and boxes to bin, to donate, and to sell. So one of the guilty parts of the clutter that every single house has is Tupperware, which I'm not even sure we can call Tupperware anymore, but those plastic boxes, the takeaway boxes, the ones we buy from Poundland, where we put all of the leftover food in, all of the stuff we need to store. I actually use Tupperware for my boyfriend's toolbox. So I keep things organized. You know, we have a box for hooks, we have a box for screws, we have a box for nails. So I use those little Tupperwares for that, and I just get a Sharpie and write on them. And actually it's been so much better since I've done that. But start with that. We all have 1,000 lids and 10 boxes. So go through, throw out all the lids, throw out everything that doesn't work anymore, anything that's cracked, and just work cupboard by cupboard, drawer by drawer. One of the big things that I found as well was with regards to recipe books. Now, I love a recipe book. I love looking through the ideas and the inspiration. I love good food. I'm not the best cook by any means, but I absolutely love cookbooks. I think it makes the kitchen look a little bit homely, and it just makes me feel like I'm a good cook, or that I have the potential to be a good cook. But the reality is I got to something like 25 cookbooks and I only used about 3. So my kitchen side was full of these cookbooks. I got bored of them collecting dust, so I put them in a cupboard, which then meant the cupboard was full because they were full of books that I hardly ever used. So what I started to do was one night a week, whatever it was, I just pulled out the cookbooks and I went through the whole book page by page, looking at the recipes that sparked interest to me or that I had cooked in the past that I loved. We all have those favorite recipes, right? Or those recipes we look at and think, one day I'm going to cook that. It's going to be date night. I'm going to cook it. I want the kids to try something. So whatever those recipes are, either photograph them if you don't have a printer with a scanner, or photocopy those recipes. And that way you've either kept them on your phone you could create a little photo album on your phone of all of the recipes that you love, or perhaps you've got a printer, you can print them off. You photographed them, you can print them from a photograph, upload them and whatever you need to do, photocopy them. I actually have a ring binder now of all of my favorite recipes from probably 20 of those 25 cookbooks, and I gave the cookbooks away. They no longer served a purpose to me. 95% of what was in there was nice to look at, but was never going to be a reality in my life or in my kitchen. So I took out everything I wanted, and now I have a ring binder with plastic wallets, and I can scoot through and find new inspiration or remember, oh yeah, I used to love cooking that. So that was a massive tip in the kitchen. If you're running out of space and you have a ton of cookbooks, think about streamlining those into one folder. So a few smaller tips. I'm almost done. So a few very small tips to just finish off. We all have this problem, every household. I used to think I didn't have this household, and now I'm back to having this. Lost socks. It's the bane of everybody's life. I remember my sister had an entire carrier bag of lost socks. That's insane. If you have tidied the house, you've done all the laundry, how the hell do you have an entire carrier bag of lost socks? I currently have about 20 lost socks and I'm on the verge of throwing them out. Just get rid of them. Socks are so cheap. We don't need to be having a side or a cupboard or a bag full of lost socks. It's ridiculous. Unless there's some super fancy, super expensive pair of socks, just get rid of them. Do a hunt around the house, get the kids to hunt their rooms. If you cannot find them after a few weeks, just get rid of them. Life is too short for lost socks. One more tip, check the medicine cabinet for all of the out-of-date medicine. It sounds so simple, but you have no idea how many times I've gone to find something and realized it went off 4 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago. How embarrassing is that? I was looking for something for my boyfriend the other day who didn't feel very well. And I'm like, if it was a month or so out of date, just take it, suck it up. But, when we're talking nearly 2 years, that's embarrassing. So make sure that you check that out. And again, I use those beauty boxes. So I have a box for creams, I have a box for tablets, I have a box for the kids' medicine. And it just makes it so easy when you're looking for something so quick. A box for all the plasters and the bandages and anything else. Just try and organize it. It makes your life so much more simple if you can just get a handle on where your stuff is. When organizing your clothes, I only have a couple more tips. When organizing your clothes, put your jeans together, put your t-shirts together, put your underwear together. And that way, when you're going to decide what you're keeping and what you're getting rid of, you can see everything in one place. So you can see, I only have 2 pairs of jeans, so really I can't afford to get rid of 1 pair until I replace them. Or actually, I have 50 t-shirts, which I didn't realize I had, and I only wear 15 of them. So you'll be able to see everything all in one place and then make a decision on what you get rid of. So that's one benefit. The second benefit is if you have everything together, getting ready in the morning will be twice as fast and twice as less stressful as usual, because everything is organized. Everything is together. Don't have 5 drawers with t-shirts in all 5 drawers. Have all your t-shirts in one drawer. That way, when you're going to find a t-shirt for the day, you can see everything all in one place. And it's so much better, so much less stress. And we don't have time for this in the mornings when we are busy getting ready for work, getting the kids ready, getting out the door. No one's got time for that. Make sure that you always make your bed. Now, this is so simple. One of the most simple tips, I think, is to make your bed. The way that you view your bedroom once you go back after the morning is so different with a bed that's made ready for you to get back into it, is ready for the day, than those bedrooms that you come back to and your bed's a mess and there's pillows everywhere and the duvet's half hanging on the floor. You just walk in and go, don't you? You walk in and it's like, oh God, it's so messy. And then you just throw your clothes on the bed, you throw them on the floor, no one cares. Just take 5 minutes and pull the duvet over and put the pillows on properly. It literally takes minutes. And when you go back into your room at any point throughout the day or the evening, you just feel so much more calm for the sake of a couple of minutes. And then finally, I touched on this just about when it comes to storage, is make sure that you label things. So there's so many things now, label queen, label master, all of these, whatever they're called, I don't even know, but that label, the pasta jars and the flour jars and the laundry and various things, but just put a label on anything. It doesn't even have to be fancy. You don't have to pay a ton of stuff. You could get a roll of sticky labels from the pound shop and just start labeling things. so you can see very quickly what's in there. If it's paperwork that you're putting in plastic wallets, just put a label on it. This is bills. This is to be posted. This is the kids' school paperwork, whatever, doctor's notes, whatever it is, stick a label on it. It will make you feel so much more organized, and you'll see straight away what you need to pull out. So very, very simple tip. And lastly, it's not a tip as such, but it was just something that I mentioned at the start of the episode, and something I had thought about recently when I had taken down all the Christmas decorations, when I was walking around kind of putting the windowsills all back together, you know, taking out all the Christmas cards and everything, reorganizing just a little bit to make sure that it didn't feel too bare when I'd taken all the Christmas stuff down. I looked at it almost with a fresh set of eyes. So I walked into my front room with a fresh set of eyes and thought, where am I going to put these photo frames now the Christmas stuff's gone? And actually, I haven't put stuff back in exactly the same place as where it was pre-Christmas. I've actually moved things around a little bit, and I just feel so much happier with it. And when I was kind of putting ideas together for this podcast, I read something which really resonated with me, and maybe I had done subconsciously as well, is I had walked into my living room as though I was a visitor in someone else's home. So I've viewed my own living room as though it wasn't mine. And how did the placement of candles look? How did the placement of photos look? All the simple things that you can change, just moving stuff around. How is your table laid out? How do you store your blankets? You know, we all have blankets that the kids have, or we have. I have mine in a hamper that's in front of the fish tank, actually, but it works really well. So just view your rooms as though you were a visitor in your own home, and then think about what changes you would make. And you can start with all of the things that are already in that room. Think about if they have a purpose. Think about if they are pleasing on the eye, or if they would be better suited to somewhere else in the home. So just jiggle stuff around a little bit, have some fun, play around with the things that you have already in your home, and where might it look better. You know, you don't have to keep something in a certain position because it's been there for 2 years. It might not actually look great anymore, and it might not make you feel happy anymore. Move it somewhere else. Try it in a new position. Try it in the window instead of on the coffee table. I mean, try lots of things. And that's not to say that you need to spend money on new things. It's not about that at all. This decluttering episode is not about spending money. It's actually about being more efficient and streamlining what you have, and even to the financial gain, right? So you get rid of some stuff, you can sell some stuff, make some money, and actually streamline what you're bringing into the home, so you don't bring in so much stuff that you don't need anymore, because you've found all that makeup you no longer need. You found all the food in the cupboard that you're going to use up over this month, so your food bill will go down. It's not about spending money. It's about looking at your space and making sure it still makes you happy, and making sure that it's organized as though you were visiting your own home. You were a visitor. Make sure that you're happy with your space, because if you're not, no one else can do that for you. So I hope you enjoyed all of my tips. I was so excited to talk about it. I am a little bit of a clean freak. I am a little bit OCD in my organization. I don't know if you noticed that today in the episode, but I wanted to thank you for listening. If you've listened all the way through, I would love to see any before and afters if you have them. So please do tag me and let me know, and make sure you tune in next week. Have a great week.